Hello there, YouTube! My name is Scott, and I am back with another instant review. Having gone from movies to books the last time with Ready Player 2, decided to make another gear-stripping turn and head straight toward TV. In this case, WandaVision, episodes 1 through 3. Now, I'm going to do my best to do an overall review before I get into spoilers, but I make no promises. And also, I apologize for doing this review in a Marvel t-shirt that does not have Wanda or Vision on it. Not the best choice on my part. But anyway, I really like this show so far. The overall theme seems to be, a loving homage to sitcoms of the past. And as somebody who grew up sitting on my butt watching most of those sitcoms of the past, I enjoy it immensely. The look and feel of each episode is different to reflect a different era of sitcoms. And they pull it off really well. And through the whole thing, they keep a really good balance of, on the one hand, you've got this fun, bubbly show where nothing really serious happens and everything's resolved in half an hour. And then the overarching backstory of there's something really wrong here and they need to figure it out. I mean, I know this is from a, what was it? Damn. Pretty sure this was actually a comic story, and I thought about reading it to see, how similar it was, but I decided if it's too similar, I didn't want spoilers, so, yeah. The acting is really great. These performers have obviously put a lot of effort into getting their characters right. And there's this interesting aesthetic in the second and then the transition into the third episodes where you start seeing little bits of color in a black and white world before the entire world just shifts to color when Wanda and Vision kiss. And then she ends up pregnant. Alright, spoilers, I wasn't going to do that. But anyway. So it's clear there's something really sinister going on, and in the middle of it you have Wanda and Vision, a happy couple trying to live their life, complete with, little slapstick, some laugh tracks, funny cross-wire scenarios, all that stuff. It's just a beautiful homage to classic TV, and I can't wait to see what happens next. That being said, I'm going to do some spoilers and try not to get too deep into each episode. So, episode 1. You start with these lovely young newlyweds, Wanda, Maximoff, and Vision, settling into their home in the small town of Westview. Their home in this first episode is a near-perfect replica of the set from the Dick Van Dyke Show. And in fact, there's an opening sequence where Vision carries Wanda into their new home and almost does the tripping over the ottoman thing that Dick Van Dyke used to do, but since he's Vision, he phases right through it. You get that classic crossed wire scenario that I mentioned earlier because the two of them both see a date on their calendar with a heart on it, and they're not quite sure what it means. Wanda ends up thinking it's a romantic dinner for two that they had planned, whereas Vision goes to work and is reminded by his boss, Mr. Hart, that they'll be having dinner with him and his wife tonight. And interesting little side note, there's this bit where Vision looks around at the office that he works at and he says out loud, what is it we do here? Which I thought was just a really funny little touch. So obviously, you get the whole crosswires thing where Wanda's dressed for a romantic night and Vision walks in with his boss and his wife, and everything has to be resolved quickly. And it almost gets pulled off, but at the end of the episode, Vision's boss is choking. And everybody's sitting around the table not doing anything except his wife, who just keeps saying, "Stop it," and laughing. And eventually Wanda gets Vision to, phase into his throat and pull the thing out, but then they act like nothing happened. And the episode ends normally. So, like I said, it's a really good balance between, oh, funny retro sitcom theme, I get it, and what the heck is going on in the background? But then, cut to episode 2. Their house looks different, and part of the neighborhood looks different. I think they didn't really get out much. Huh. I guess I missed that part where, as sitcoms progressed, they started doing more exterior shots. Anyway, Wanda and Vision want to fit in with the community, so they decide to put on a magic show for the community talent show. And it's actually like regular magic, they're not using their powers. But just before the show, Vision decides to chew some gum, which literally gums up his works, and to the rest of the world, he looks like he's drunk. Like, somehow he has trouble moving, but he can keep assuming, his human look instead of looking like Vision, which is a little weird when you think about it. And then they're trying to do the magic, and Vision's, like, proving that, he has powers, and Wanda's using her magic to make it look normal. And the overall vibe from that one was more of a Bewitched look. Like, the opening was animated, and when Vision swallows his gum, there's also an animated shot inside of his actual gears, like, doing that. But there's a toy helicopter that shows up at one point that's, like, bright red in this black and white world. A scene where Wanda hears somebody talking on the radio saying her name, and when her neighbor squeezes a glass in her hand so hard that it shatters, she's bleeding bright red blood. And here's an interesting thing. At one point, Wanda and Vision walk out into their street at night, and there's a guy climbing out of the sewer in a weird suit with a logo on the back, and Wanda just says, no. And it rewinds to an earlier point in the episode, and then things go differently, and they kiss, and not only is Wanda now pregnant, visibly pregnant, but the world shifts from black and white to color. It's a beautiful wipe, really. And the mystery goes on. Because in the third episode, which looks... I would give it a Brady Bunch aesthetic. Like, the inside of the house to me looked a lot like the interior of the Brady Bunch. If you, like, took a picture of their living room and the entrance into the kitchen, and then flipped the photo negative. And in this episode, Wanda is pregnant, and it's progressing rapidly. Like, so rapidly that Vision projects that from the point that they kiss, she's going to give birth in 3 days, but it happens later that day. And there's the whole thing where they have to rush to get a doctor, and Wanda's in their house with a friend of hers, in labor, trying to pretend she's not in labor because she didn't want anybody to know that they were pregnant, and it, like, just happened. And her powers are going out of control. There's a funny visual gag where it looks like sprinklers are set off in their house, and Wanda's like, I think my water just broke. But while she's giving birth, it's like a scene from The Exorcist or something. Pictures are spinning on the walls, chandelier or light fixtures are dropping, cabinets are opening and closing. And the woman that she's with, her friend Geraldine, mentions her brother being killed by Ultron. But then, it's all wiped away again, even though Wanda sees the logo that is clearly S.W.O.R.D. And if you don't know what that is, you should look it up, because I didn't really know either. I heard it's kind of like S.H.I.E.L.D., but in space, but S.H.I.E.L.D.'s been to space. But anyway. So that's where the third episode ends. So now Wanda and Vision have twins that should be at least part robot and part... I know they said she's an Inhuman, but look. I'm a Marvel purist, okay? Wanda Maximoff is a mutant. Her brother Pietro was a mutant. They were the twin children of Magneto. They have another sister named Polaris who has powers like her father. But I've digressed. So they have twin babies now, and I assume they're going to get into the late 70s, early 80s at this point. My memory on sitcoms at that point is a little bit fuzzy. I don't know where they'd go there. 8 is enough, maybe? But, I mean, there's only 4 of them, so what do you do? Anyway, I've enjoyed this immensely, and next week, as soon as the next episode comes up, I'm going to review it fresh for you guys. You know, I'm trying to get back into the flow so I can start doing my regular episodes again. Anyways, this has been Scott, and this has also been an instant review, and I will see you guys next time.